Houston Center for Photography was founded when the Cronin Gallery closed, and some of us began to think about where would people who were interested in photography gather then, because we all used to go to the openings. And the Cronin Gallery was the second photography gallery in Houston. Jeff Winningham had one that had closed before the Cronin Gallery opened. So we sent out a notice that said anybody interested in founding a nonprofit photography organization should meet at the Paradise Bar and Grill. And the number of people who showed up was larger than we expected, but smaller than rumor now has it.
By a large number.
There were, my guess, 18 to 20
yeah,
people,
20 people,
you know, around a table, you know, and
drinking.
And it took, the Paradise Bar and Grill was a restaurant with two of the founding, it was owned by Betty and Frank Fleming, who were two of the founding members as well. And so it moved quickly from there, where people got together, they organized, the first year or so we were in Bering Church, and then moved here to the space, moved on West Alabama to the space that Manil gave us, which at that time was shared. There was a dry cleaner down at the other end. And really just grew in a wonderful way with people who were, you know, have always been dedicated to, and was Len McClanahan the first director? Len McClanahan, who went on to work at the Art Institute of Chicago and then came back here and worked at the Contemporary Arts Museum, was the first director. And pretty early the program set up the membership show, and the balance of membership shows and bringing work in from the outside as the budget would allow, doing lectures.
We really didn't have an outreach education program at first, and then that developed and became a really important function of it. And actually the publication came fairly quickly. So, which was
started as a newsletter,
right?
And then
it was originally called Image, and was challenged by other organizations who had.
The Eastman House has a publication called Image, and the Visual Studies Workbook has one called After Image. So then David Costley, who was the first editor, came up with the idea of Spot. And David will have to enlighten everybody on Spot, but the main
and it was published at that point. It was published 4 times a year, quarterly, I believe,
yeah.
And then it gradually became less so.
I mean, Houston Center for Photography was conceived to be what it is, which is a nonprofit membership organization which featured the work of photographers on a regular basis, gave photographers a place to exhibit their work and to see other people's work exhibited, and to gather and talk about photography, a dialogue, an open dialogue for working photographers in the city. And that's what it was intended to be, and that's what it is. And
to react more immediately than most institutions in the city could do. So, and being the curator at the Museum of Fine Arts, things were planned out 3 and 4 years ahead. At HCP, we could plan something that could happen in 3 months at that point. Now it's a little further out, but in the beginning it was, we saw someone's work, it was available, we could exhibit it, it was pertinent, the issue was pertinent, and quite often it was an immediate response to an issue that happened that we could then exhibit almost immediately.
And interestingly enough, the reason that shows began to be planned out further was because of grants. When HCP became incorporated and recognized as a nonprofit organization and could apply for grants like the Arts Council and the Texas Commission and especially the National Endowment for the Arts, then they had to submit an exhibition program.
Right.
And so those kinds of things evolved naturally, but there's always been an exhibition committee so that the members play an active role in what is exhibited, and members usually do the writing for the organization and some members as well as the directors and curators work on exhibitions. So it's always been a participatory membership organization.
And the fellowships came in fairly early and have been given for many, many years. And we've had distinguished jurors come in for the membership shows and now for the fellowship exhibition. And people like Will Michels, who's exhibiting now for the first time in a one-person exhibition here, was an early recipient of one of those fellowships, as was Amy Blakemore, and just a host of other people locally. And now the fellowships have gone national, not quite yet international, but that will happen.
And the other thing is the museum has purchased work. The museum has purchased work out of the shows, so that as have many collectors in the city. So the HCP has been a platform for photographers to find an extended audience.
And the auctions
for their
the same
work.
way.
Auctions,
We bought,
absolutely.
for the MFA, hundreds of photographs have come into the collection of the Museum of Fine Arts because of the HCP auction. And when PhotoFest started, HCP became a very integral part of PhotoFest and being a participant in it and collaborating with PhotoFest as well.
And HCP has never charged us a finder's fee for all those photographs.
We've collaborated, HCP has collaborated with the MFA on lectures and other programs at the museum, and with Photo Forum, the support group for the Museum of Fine Arts Houston, and with many other institutions. And now that we started the collaborations program with area high schools, it's been a tremendous boon to photography in the community.
Always had a collaborative spirit, whether it was collaboration between the members, collaboration within the community, collaborations with the photographers. It's always, the idea has always been that it was about people getting together to share their ideas and their energy and coming out with something that is a result of that collaboration.
And not just photographers, but myself as a collector, other people as dealers, the whole entire community of Houston photography has been sort of, this has been the heart of it, I think, from the very beginning. It's been the heart and soul of that community.